I actually like writing directly to the picture, like as it's going. I use Logic and I like to use capture recording, so like I can just like start playing and then I can always like save whatever I do. So I'll have like a piano sketch and then I'll kind of fill the gaps in with like orchestration. It depends on like the specific score though.
I do retrospective record as like my best friend. In fact, when it doesn't work, I like throw things and get really upset. 'Cause I'm like, what? But yeah, we all write for media, so we all like writing to picture, I would assume. I think template is also like, key. Templates are your best friend.
I have a pretty large orchestral template because most of the jobs I get are animation or drama, which is mostly orchestral. I have some synths loaded, but not a lot. Those are usually custom sounds. Like I will customize my template per project. Personally, I usually like to write theme suites first in the master session and send those off. And once those are approved, I go into the individual cues and just go from that master suite session and just save a backup basically. And then for every cue, I adjust whatever theme I'm using, whatever part of the suite I'm using. I'm going off of that because in that master suite, I usually already have all the mixing applied, all the mastering applied, everything's routed properly for stem printing. So I usually go from that session and just always go back to it for every cue, do a backup session, and then apply it to the individual cue.
I like doing that too, like having kind of like either themes or like a suite for the film you're working on. And it's so much easier, I think, to go through and score the rest of it, having this sort of knowledge of how you feel about the film.
It's so much faster too.
Faster, yeah. Especially if they like it.
Yeah.
Because you're on the same page again.
Because you also have these lucky accidents where you just load up a cue and it just fits and you're like, okay, cool, 3 minutes of music done. And they don't know, that the client doesn't know, but there's not a lot of time. So any cue that is a happy accident, take it.
Yeah. Someone at the beginning of this conversation said it's never done, but you have to deliver a project. Talk about the completion process. When do you feel ready? How do you let go? How do you present it?
When you fall asleep on your desk, that's when you're done.
The question, and trying to answer the question of like, when's it done? It's done when someone's going to walk in, and you have to have the confidence and you have to put the time in to make sure that before they do, you feel good about it.
You just sort of set these deadlines for yourself, and it's done when it's time to demo for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think deadlines help you.
You have to run off the deadlines.
Yeah.
If I don't have a deadline, I procrastinate till the end of time. Yes. If I know that I have to have something done by 12 o'clock noon, it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think a lot of composers also run off of pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure is like our worst enemy and our best friend. Whether you're a procrastinator or you're not, it's like those last few hours before a preview or the director's coming in, it's just crunch time. And I think the more experience that you gain as you go through this crazy process that we go through, we just learn how to navigate it.
I like taking like multiple breaks, because then you get a fresh perspective. Like when you start working too long, you can start feeling it too, like your perspective on it's like super skewed.
It's also knowing when your ears are shot, because I have this system of, I have a certain value on my preamp that I know when I start out it's here, and then I know when it gets over 12 o'clock, that's when my ears are starting to shut down because I have to turn the volume up further and further, and that's when it's time to take a walk or make new coffee. Or
I think it's also knowing when you're not being productive. Like, don't force it. There are sometimes when I sit down to write and magic comes out and it's like, oh, that's the melody I'm going to be working with, and it just comes out the moment I sit down, and for the next 3 hours I'm in that zone. But there are some times when I sit down and within 20 minutes my brain is wandering, I'm doing something. Yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and I'm not gonna do anything productive, or it's not gonna be my best work. I need to take a step back, do something, run an errand, clear my head, just go for a walk, ride a bike. That's gonna bring me back to that zone so I can sit down for those 3 hours and actually do something productive, because I don't like wasted time. Everything is about time and making it sound as good as it can in as fast of time as you can, without, downgrading the quality of it.